What's up, guys? Oh my God. Anaheim 1 delivered. A lot of times this race comes out, there's so much hype, not much happens. A lot happened last night, and it is set up for some serious storylines. Today is all about the 450 class. I will get into the 250s and the Deegan versus Kitchen. Man, I feel bad for Kitchen. My advice to Levi, stay off social media for a little while. Use it as fuel and just get ready for the East. But I'll talk all about that tomorrow. Also this week, I want to talk about the German Supercross. Arena cross rider Michael Hicks went over there. He won the first night. He struggled the next two. But dang, this dude is flying around the world. If he doesn't have too much jet lag, I'm going to get him on the show and we're going to talk about his adventures. If you guys are sore, you've got an ache and a pain, I'm telling you, get Nano-Extreme. This is the best pain cream ever. It's got DMSO. It's got all sorts of other active ingredients that actually get right down to the nerves and stimulate. These are so much better than pain pills or anti-inflammatories or any of the stuff that you take over the counter. I strongly recommend, if you know anyone in pain, get them some Nano-Extreme. Do them a solid. Head over to Nano-Extreme, use code Cooksy at checkout, and you'll get free shipping. And if you're looking for content, because everybody always is, head over to the Coach Rob Podcast Network. He's got a show dedicated to amateurs. He's got a show dedicated for vet riders. He's got fitness shows galore. Anything you want to learn about fitness, head over to the Coach Rob Podcast Network and check out his shows.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
What a night of racing. Like I said before, A1 did not disappoint. We got storylines galore. There was so much going on. And I didn't really like the track, but I knew it was going to, if Jett didn't get a whole shot, it was going to make for some tough racing because the way it zigzagged back and forth, those left, right, it single files the field. So if you didn't get a good start, by the end of that first lap, you were down a long ways. You had a lot of ground to make up, and it was kind of hard to pass. And of course, Jett Lawrence, how is he not the main storyline heading into Anaheim 1? Every single rider is focused on Jett Lawrence. All off season, they probably had posters of Jett, and they're like, hey, that's the guy. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. We're going to get him. It is difficult when you're on top of the hill and everybody's charging for you. He doesn't have anything to chase. He's at the top. McGrath talked about this a little bit on, the Race Day Live show. It is tough when you're the guy that everybody is focused on and you're all in their heads and they just want to beat you so bad. Add to that his newfound social media negativity, the booze, the things he's been saying. This is not comfortable for Jett. He looked stressed. I called my buddy right after the press conference. I said, dude, that does not look like a guy. That looks like a guy carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He reminds me of Damon Bradshaw. Do you remember Damon Bradshaw right before he retired preemptively? He looked stressed out. He was the guy. And then McGrath came in and smoked him. He was the guy that everyone looked to. And it was a lot for him to carry. He had just lost that championship. He wasn't having fun, and you could see it on his face. Unfortunately, I saw that in Jett at the press conference. He did not look like your normal Jett. He wasn't having fun. He seems to be holding in a lot of weight and stress, whatever you want to call it. On press day, I saw him pull off the track multiple times. He just wasn't comfortable, where Tomac got out there and just looked instantly comfortable. Jett did not. Neither did Hunter, and maybe that's the bike. But don't kid yourselves. Even though Jett had a poor performance at A1, the worst 450 Supercross result of his career, which is crazy to say, a 12th is the worst ever, that's actually not too bad considering this field was incredibly deep. I mean, to get in the top 10 of this field, you had to be good. But what's really scary about that bike issue is it's both him and Hunter. So you don't have one guy helping the other guy fix it or vice versa. You have two guys not feeling comfortable. It is going to be a rough week for Honda. They're going to have to do some serious testing. It is not going to be a fun vibe for those mechanics trying to set that thing up. At Honda, they got some work to do to get these two riders comfortable. Now, last year, we've seen this a lot from Hunter, but he never has really felt comfortable on that 450, and it took him a hard time. Took a while to get comfortable on that bike, where Jett seems to be able to ride anything. This is the first time I think I've seen him look uncomfortable on a motorcycle, period. He did not look confident. He didn't have that ability to just throw it down like he has in the past. In fact, he wasn't even the fastest qualifier. Don't get me wrong, that lap he threw down at the very end of the second session probably would have beat Eli, but he bobbled out of the last turn and just barely missed out. But you could see when Jett looked up, his body language, there was disappointment. He was like, wait a second, I went that fast and Tomac still went faster than me? I mean, he quickly recovered and played it off, and he's probably like, okay, well, yeah, I made a mistake, so that's why. But in the past, that hasn't mattered. He's had this gap on the field that he doesn't have. Add that to the stress of the negativity, not being, comfortable out there and not really enjoying things and having fans dislike him. But I think it's not as bad as I think it sounds. Social media amplifies the negativity. Jett has so many diehard fans that absolutely love him, and then he's got the haters. He needs to learn how to block out those haters. For example, before opening ceremonies, they showed him back behind there, and he didn't look anything like the guy last year. Remember last year, he came out with the boxing gloves, with Bruce Buffer, and people were critical of that, but I think Jett had fun with it. But this year, he tried to tone it down and kind of patronize and be like a little bit more humble. Wrong move. I have watched enough pro wrestling and fighting events. You will never win a crowd by patronizing them. What he needed to do was whatever the hell he wants to do. Be the fun-loving Jett Lawrence. If you want to come out and needle the fans, go for it. Come out, holding an Australian flag, riding down the start straight. Really steer into it. That's how you win people back over. What he needs to do is, the haters are going to hate him no matter what. His fans, the diehard fans, they don't want to see him cower. They want to see him stand up and be like, I don't care if you don't like me, I'm still going to win. That gives them fuel to protect him. And that's what I would steer into him. I would say, and if you don't feel that way, then don't do it. But if he authentically feels that way, and I think he does, I think he needs to find a way to make it fun again. He does not look like he's having fun. Maybe come out to the song by like Down Under, like one of those Australian songs of the bands. Put a koala bear on him. Just do something to really mess with the people that dislike him. And they're going to dislike him either way. They're going to dislike him whether he comes out humble or he comes out just pissing them off. But they will respect him if he's authentic. If he comes out there and that's genuinely who he is and he truly believes he's representing Australia and people don't like him because he's a foreigner, steer into it, man. Even the haters, while they won't like it, they will respect it. And the fans who truly do love Jett go, look at that badass. Oh, he doesn't care. That's great. And they will love him. And it will become fun again. And I think he needs to learn how to play with it and not take it personal. Much easier said than done. It is not easy to embrace the hate. Trust me. As somebody who gets a ton of hate, I do. I get a lot of hatred and a lot of negative comments and some mean things. It is not easy to learn how to just be like, yeah, well, they don't matter. And just keep doing your own thing. Jett's young. I hope he figures this out and can turn this into fun. Or, he's got enough money right now. He could pull a Damon Bradshaw and just leave the sport. And that would be traumatic to the entire sport. We need him to be on top when Hayden Deegan moves to that 450 class. To get that next level rivalry, we need a king on top for Hayden Deegan to chase. And if Jett can't get it together and he's not even the top guy when Hayden Deegan moves up, it is going to steal a lot of thunder from Deegan and the sport in general, the whole entertainment value. We need to see him be the champion and one of these greatest of all times, which we know he can be. He has won so much so early. He absolutely can be one of the all-time greats. And he already is one of the all-time greats. But to do what Ricky, James, and McGrath have done and be there for a long time, he's got to figure out how to embrace the negativity. These same fans that are booing him, in a couple years, if Deegan wins or he gets some real challenge, they're going to love him. He'll become every rider as they go through. It's like the natural curve. If you win too much too soon, people boo you. They don't want to see you dominate forever. But then if you struggle a little bit, and he probably won't get as many boos in San Diego because of the poor performance here at Anaheim. People don't want to kick someone when they're down. They want to take somebody off the top of the mountain. And I want to see him get up to that top of the mountain so Deegan can try and take him off. That will be so much fun. How about Chase Sexton? This dude was all business from the press conference when he said, I'm not talking about KTM's problems. Talk to the manager. Talk to Heinz Kindergartner. He was not having it. He's like, I'm compartmentalized. I'm here to race and I'm here to win and I'm here to do nothing else. And that was his mentality. And it worked, man. And he is such an absolute savage on the track. The way he wheelied over Eli Tomac, kind of ruthless, but it's that split-second decision. Do I stop and get stuck back in 15th and lose the race? or do I wheelie over Eli and end up in third or fourth and still win the race? 10 out of 10 times, Sexton is going to run over anyone. Like I said, that could have been his mom, I think, and he would have ran her over. There's still that 800-pound gorilla hanging over that whole Pierre group, the KTM team. I have some more information on that meeting that happens at the 24th. The 24th of January, KTM, they're voting on with their creditors. So they are in debt billions. They are going to these 3 separate banks, and they're presenting their plan to pay back 30% of the debt within 24 months. These 3 banks have to sign off on it. If they do, we're in business. If they don't, it might get sold off and it's going to get weird. What's good is at least for 2025, the race team is solid because they have put them under a different umbrella. They are under the Switzerland account. They're almost they are a separate business, but really not. They just did that to kind of hide it for tax reasons, but that is actually a blessing. So they will not be touched, but I have to wonder, how do these KTM employees feel that are still waiting on money from November and December, and they haven't even got paid, and they're going to see Chase Sexton winning races and getting these $100,000 bonuses that will be paid? That can't be good. And the joke was with some of these people around KTM, and I can't say who, but they were making jokes like, trust me, the executives are cheering for Ken Roczen to get past Chase Sexton. Last thing they need is more debt before the 24th when they have to go in front of these guys and say, hey, listen, can we pay you back 30% of your money in 24 months? Is that acceptable? Meanwhile, Chase, wins a race. If he wins again, that's $200,000 added to the debt. And then you add to that, there's a good chance he wins the championship with $1 million bonus. I would guess they're secretly hoping he has a bad weekend in San Diego. And speaking of Ken Roczen, this dude, I don't say much about him because I'm afraid his wife will freak out on me and try and get me banned from everything. But I can't not talk about him. He rode amazing. He was qualified 14th, looked like an absolute turd out there in practice. He was bad. I was like, man, I don't even know if he's going to make the top 10. Comes out, wins the heat. It's crazy what a little bit of confidence like that'll do. Even Chase Sexton said it in the press conference. He's like, listen, as soon as I saw Roczen win the heat, I'm like, dang, he's on tonight. He has that little bit of it. He believes he can win. And when a guy as good as Ken Roczen believes he can get it done, he's a problem. I did laugh a little bit when Kenny made a comment about he wished he had electric start because he commented on Chase Sexton stalling it. And he's like, oh, it's nice to have electric start. Kenny was told that Suzuki would have electric start for him in 2025. They have been working on it. It's not ready. He's still using a Kickstarter. He is clearly not happy about that. And for him to comment like that in public shows you how kind of secretly mad he actually is about not having electric start. That might have been maybe why he was struggling earlier in the day. He was just like, screw this. They can't even deliver electric start. You can tell when Kenny's not feeling it. But when he won that heat race, boom, all that was gone. He was there to race. But it's very key for Ken Roczen to show he is still a guy that can get podiums and win races. He wants that Ducati seat really, really bad. And there's 3 guys that are really in the running for that. Right now, we've got Jason Anderson, Justin Barcia, and Ken Roczen. All 3 of these guys are in talks with Ducati. And I think Ducati is going to wait. So I'll talk about that in a second. Speaking of El Hombre, I picked him to win. I know, it was picking with my heart. But when he got in the lead, I was like, yes, he's going to do it. I didn't know his spokes were ripped out. And I don't know if you guys have ever ridden with front spokes that are tinking like that. I have. It's terrifying. You don't know if your wheel's going to crumble. And it could be horrific if you land and like that front wheel crumbles, your season, career, and life could change. And he said that really affected his mentality and he kept making mistakes. But he still settled in. He still ended up on the podium for the night, so not a bad performance from El Hombre. But what was interesting is as soon as I saw the starting line when they had Jett right next to him, there is no love lost between. Now, this is a blood feud. You get Levi and Hayden Deegan. That is just a rivalry. Lawrence versus Anderson, both of them, is a blood feud. They do not like each other. They do not like each other off the track. On the track, they do not care. When I saw Jett line up right next to Anderson, both me and my friends that I was watching the race with all went, whoa, uh-oh. And of course, Anderson had one goal off that start. He was going to get in front of Jett and pinch him off that inside. And right out of the gate, he said he got squirrely. He only got squirrely after he swerved over and locked bars. He was running right into Jett. That was the plan from the moment he jumped. It was crazy how he still ended up 5th out of that start. I don't know how that happened. That was luck, skill, a little bit of both. But he definitely went right into Jett. That was intentional, and I believe that was 100% his plan from the second Jett lined up next to him. Check out Ride Strapped. This is my favorite goggle company, a company that truly believes in giving back to the sport in the grassroots level. They have goggles, glasses, t-shirts. Check out ridestrap.com. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport. Precision Transport is a family-owned shipping company that provides reasonable pricing, tracking, and they're just great people. Hit up pretransport.com. And I got a new sponsor, Motobilia. These guys have the coolest stuff you'll ever see. Listen, you don't have to buy anything from Motobilia, but I strongly recommend you at least check out their website. They have some of the coolest stuff. Those of us who have loved this sport and seen it forever, they have Dave Thorpe's old Factory 500. It is some cool stuff. So head over to Motobilia and check that out. So Cooper Webb, when I saw all those tight turns, I thought maybe this is his night. Maybe he can get it done. But his game plan this year is to be there all 17 rounds and just constantly. He's not going to make that big mistake like what Jett did, what Eli did. He is there to be podium or close to it every single round. And when it presents itself, he will go for the win. But for the most part, on a night when he's not doing as well, like he did at Anaheim, he knew just get in the top 5, possibly a podium, and that's perfect for here, and we'll go on to the next round. He did exactly what he went there to do. He is going to be there all 17 rounds. But look for Cooper Webb after a few rounds, or if you see him in a position, he will go for it. But if he's not, you're going to see him just trying to ride out podiums or top 5s. Tomac, oh my gosh, this was his. This is one he's going to look back on and say, that was mine. I can't believe I did that. And even said that afterward. Even with the mistake, he still looked happy. And it's hard not to. Right now, he is in the twilight. I mean, the crowd, he by far gets the biggest pop of anyone out there. They're talking about being his last season. I don't think that's true. I really don't. Because when he's always said, if you go back all the way through his career, he's always said, I will race as long as I'm having fun and I can still win races. And with the crowd loving him, and they're going to love him everywhere, it's going to be really hard to hang it up if he can still win races. Even if he gets his championship, I see him coming back. That's my opinion. I don't know. It's very up in the air, but I don't see Eli. If he can still win races, I don't see him hanging it up. What a comeback. I mean, that was a hard track to come back on, and he was way back. He was like last or second to last. He charged through, rode smart, consistent. He followed Jett for a little bit. Jett made another mistake, but then he got all the way up to 5th place. So that's pretty reasonable. I mean, that's a great start. With Jett getting 12th, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't sting nearly as bad. I think these guys all look at Sexton. They know he's good. They know he can win races, and they know he's going to win on certain nights. But they also know Chase has a propensity to make those big mistakes, and I think they're kind of counting on that. So I don't think anyone's panicked. I think Eli, while he's disappointed with that 5th place, he also knows how good he felt. I mean, from the second he hit the track on press day, all the way through, every single time. I don't ever remember him being fast qualifier in both sessions. I don't know that that's ever happened. Maybe it has, but I don't remember it happening. I mean, he looked happy, good, comfortable, and ready to go. He is going to be tough to beat on every single night. And how about Justin Barcia? Justin Barcia rode really good. He was battling up front, ended up with the 6th place. I'm sorry, 6th place is not normally a great finish, but in this deep field, that's an amazing finish. That's great for Barcia. And if he wants to have any chance at being on the Ducati team as the number 1 rider, I think what we'll end up seeing is Justin Barcia as the number 2 rider on the team, unless Kenny is the guy, because Kenny, I can't see Kenny allowing Barcia to be on the same team with him. It's going to get a little bit weird there, but if Anderson's, I don't know. It's going to be, he wants that Ducati ride, and he's got to perform good enough to show people he still has plenty in the tank and can compete. If he can do that, he may end up being the Ducati guy. Keep an eye on that team. If you see Red Bull as their energy drink, you'll know probably Roczen's going there. If you see Monster, I'm going to go with Anderson. But the real tricky thing to watch is Chase Sexton. His contract is up at the end of this year. Is he going to stay at KTM? Can they even afford him? What will he do? Will he go to Ducati? Does he want to be part of an upstart team? They want him really bad, and I think they're waiting around to see what happens with KTM to see if they get a chance at Chase Sexton. Justin Cooper was quiet. I expected him to have a little bit faster qualifying times, but he still rode really good, salvaged the 7th place. Like I said, in this field, 7th place is awesome. Good for Justin Cooper. I do expect him to be around 7, probably 4 to 7 is where I would expect Justin Cooper this year. He's been on the podium before, so we'll have to see if he can get back to that level, but everybody is so good right now. I think before he gets on the podium, this field's going to have to thin out just a little bit. And man, I'll tell you what, the feel-good story of the night for me was Justin Hill on Team Tedder. For those of you guys that don't know, Kenny Watson, my buddy, is back managing a team. He is down in the pits with Team Tedder. And if you're at the races, check out Team Tedder. You know Kenny always has cool pit parties and fun events all the way around. He is always entertaining, and he brings a fun atmosphere to the pits, something that a lot of these stuffy teams don't do. Check out Team Tedder. They are a blast. They're having fun. Clearly, Justin Hill's happy. We all know how talented that guy is. I don't know what the ceiling is for him this year. I think getting 8th at this first round in this deep field, I don't know. I mean, you never know with Justin Hill. He could catch fire and get on podiums. You really never know with Justin Hill. But man, it's good to see him riding up to his talent, and just, he's good for the sport. Him and his brother both are very good for this sport. And I like it. It's better when they do good. And it's nice to see Justin Hill battling up there where it matters. Plessinger had a quiet night. I expected a little bit more. But like I said, deep field. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but look at the guys that are finishing down here in the lower part of the top 10 and outside the top 10. Lots of factory riders. Lots of guys who set their goals much higher. Hang in there. Plessinger, he has fun. He never lets this stuff bother him. He will have his nights. But yeah, this wasn't one of them. Malcolm Stewart, this was one of the grittiest performances. I mean, when you look at it, you see 10th place, no big deal. But when you know what happened to him in that heat race, that was one of the hardest hits. This dude is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen. He has taken so many hits. I have no idea how he got back up. Most riders take that kind of a hit. That's the end of the night, possibly the year, maybe even the career. You never know. Like, that was a nasty, nasty hit that he took, came back, qualified through the LCQ, and salvaged. I mean, he had to gut it out. There's no way he wasn't hurting really bad to get that 10th place. Now we get to Hunter Lawrence. Man, Hunter threw it away. He was up there battling. Looked like he could have got a podium. I think he was in 4th when he wrecked in the sand. Just disappointing for Hunter. He really had set himself up in that main event to be in the top 5, possibly on the podium, and just threw it away. I don't know how, he clearly doesn't look comfortable on the bike. That's nothing new for Hunter, but for his brother to also be uncomfortable, that's something that's kind of alarming. It's going to be a rough week at Honda, but they'll get it together. And don't think Jett's brother and Jett are not going to get it together. They are absolutely going to get it together, and they will be battling for wins and podiums throughout the year. Jorge Prado. Should we just call this guy the Greg Albertine 2.0? His start's on point. He is going to get up there and frustrate a lot of guys. And, if he's going to go through the whoops that slow, a lot of these guys are going to get pissed and they're going to move him out of the way. A lot of guys were kind of polite to him this round, but if this continues where he hole shots and runs roadblocks, they're going to start moving him. He has got to figure out a way to get through the whoops. Can he do it in a week? Probably not. Maybe, it might be better advice for him to not get the whole shot, start, back with some guys where he can battle and do a little bit more on his level. I mean, that's crazy advice and it's probably stupid, but I mean, if he keeps getting the whole shot and running that slow through the whoops, it's going to get really ugly. All right, guys, that's it for the wrap up on the 450s. Next week, San Diego, and then back to Anaheim for round 3. And like I said, that's a big one because we got the KTM date looming on January 24th. We find out what's going to happen there. And then we'll have Anaheim too. And by then usually it takes about 3 to 5 rounds to find out who our real players in the series are going to be. The field starts to separate. We hear, unfortunately, this sucks, and I hate to talk about it, but there's always a few people that get injured because it's a dangerous sport. I mean, it happens. Guys get sick, guys get hurt, and we're going to see who has separated themselves from the pack after about 3 to 5 rounds usually is when we kind of know what we're looking at towards the end. Thank you to all the members. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys have all joined. You pay $2.99 a month. And I am doing giveaways for you guys every single month. This month, we're giving away a set of Alias gear. Alias is back. Yes, this stuff looks so good. And we're going to give away a full set of Alias gear and also a bottle of Nano-tech